Last year, two longtime Ohio State University teachers reached a settlement after suing over age discrimination. The women claimed one supervisor even called them dead wood.
If you happen to be 50 years old or older and you're out there interviewing for a regular 9 to 5 job, you already know it's tough. You might be asking yourself, hey, look, is the corporate HR department, are they looking at my resume and thinking, oh, this person's overqualified there? They'll get bored with the job. Maybe they're too expensive because they come at it with 20 years of experience. Or will they clash with the corporate culture, which is full of young folk? Well, look, in this video, we're going to talk about how to diffuse those objections before they're used to outright remove you from consideration. But first, let me assure you, you're not the only one going through this, but we can overcome and get that job.
A new study claims about 56% of workers over the age 50 have faced or could face what's called employer-driven job loss. Now, that's according to a recent analysis by ProPublica and the Urban Institute.
Last year, two longtime Ohio State University teachers reached a settlement after suing over age discrimination. The women claimed one supervisor even called them dead wood.
It was kind of shocking to be referred to so negatively. It's just a real slap in the face. There's no question in our minds or in our lawyers' minds or in the minds of the EEOC that these were actions related to age.
In our Work in Progress series, we've partnered with LinkedIn to take a closer look at issues affecting the workforce. LinkedIn editor-in-chief Dan Roth is here with how older employees can protect their jobs. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
So one economist in the ProPublica story said working after 50 is considerably riskier and more turbulent than we previously thought. Didn't we already think it was pretty tough?
We knew it was tough. We didn't realize it was this tough. When you have the majority of workers over 50 who will lose their job at least once, and only 10% will be able to get a job that earns as much if they get a job again. Those are terrifying numbers. It means the majority of us are going to be hit by this at some point in our lives. This will affect everyone, and the study shows that it doesn't matter your income, your age, what geography you're in, what industry you're in, it affects everyone.
Okay, so you are not alone. All right, so let's do something about that. Now, you're sitting in front of a hiring manager, and they ask this question. Aren't you overqualified for this role? Listen, you got to own that. Don't downplay it, okay? Now, what you also need to do is reframe it. So you look them straight in the eye and say, listen, I've managed big teams and heavy budgets in the past. I've proved I can do that. Right now, what excites me about this position is the opportunity to execute. You're not hiring someone who is using this job as a stepping stone to build a resume. That piece is important for you to say, okay? You aren't hiring someone who is using this job as a stepping stone to build a resume. Right there, you inject a lot of stability. You give yourself an advantage that the 25-year-old can't reasonably or credibly say. Then you go on to say, you're getting someone who wants to be in this exact seat, doing this exact work and delivering predictable results on day one. Predictable results on day one. How can you promise that? Well, because you've got experience. Okay, you've got maybe in some cases over 2 approaching 3 decades of experience. You can hit the ground running. All right, the next consideration is tech bias. All right, so there may be a perception that you're not up on the latest tech because you started your career decades ago. So you got to kill that perception, the perception that you as an older worker are stuck in the 90s and slow to adapt. So don't tell them you're good with tech. Just drop the modern corporate terms seamlessly into your answer. So here's an example. When I was organizing my project pipeline on Notion last week, I mean, you can use ChatGPT, Gemini. You can throw things in there. Now, they've got to be true, okay? But it is essential that they know you are up to speed with the technology because that's going to be essential to you. The perception of you being able to come in and hit the ground running. Okay, so go on. I usually map out my team communications via Slack or use ChatGPT to clean up data models by casually dropping today's vernacular workflows, that ageist tech bias, tech gap, it tends to disappear. So if you do have, some deficiencies in that area, look, go on to Gemini, Chat GPT, and learn. Get rid of those biases before you go into that interview. All right, now look, this is a very real consideration or apprehension for younger hiring managers. You got to pass what's known as the manageability check. Some younger folk, they have, this trepidation about managing older people because, especially if they're respectful to their elders and have been taught to do that. All right. So, younger hiring managers, oftentimes, some of them could feel intimidated that you might try to take over or that they can't manage you. So, you got to show them from the outset that you're a team player who respects hierarchy. What do you say? How do you inject this notion into the conversation? Try this or some derivation of it. You got to make it your own, right? I've worn the executive hat before, which means I know exactly what a manager needs from their team: clear communication, zero drama, and execution. This proves you're there to support them, not replace them. You're going to be a team player, and it's important that you espouse that early on. So, kind of the theme with this series is, your experience is the asset, okay? It's not a threat to a 9 to 5 organization, but you've got to lay the groundwork to convince them that you are the answer. Okay. You're coming at it with something that the 25-year-old can't. 25-year-old graduated from college. They got a lot of theory. Sure. You got real world application experience. Okay. You, in many ways, could position yourself to become a type of insurance policy for the company because you come at it with the institutional knowledge that they might not already possess. So, look, stop hiding your history. Don't run away from it. Start selling yourself as certainty. Again, you're the answer. So, look, we've got a couple of other videos in this series. The next one, we're going to be talking about post 50 layoff financial survival. Okay. The goal is how to tactically bridge the gap between an unexpected late career layoff and reaching Social Security. Okay. Protecting the retirement nest egg that you have built throughout the years without taking massive early withdrawal penalties or depleting that nest egg just to survive.